How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the DC Multiverse Kid Flash action figure. You can see the front, you get the window box, you can see everything that comes on the inside. Well, for the most part, there's stuff kind of hidden around here. That's the chain, but we'll get to that when we open it up. You got the image here of Wallace West, and then another of the exact same image of Wallace West. And on the side here, you have the same image of Wallace West. They really like that image. Anyhow, in the back of the package, you can see the other figures in the wave: Kyle Rayner, Superman, Batman Beyond, and Wallace West. Each one of them has a number next to it with a corresponding number. Builds the Collect and Connect LOBO, which is one of my all-time most wanted 6-inch scale figures ever. Woo! Oh, look at that. I done put a hole in my backdrop. Yep, that's going to be noticeable. Note to self, change the background after this video, but it's staying for this one. Alrighty then. Let's take him out of the package. This side first. Oh, this did not work out as planned. Nope. Worst opening ever. And here's what you get. You get a stupidly long amount of awesome real chain to go with Lobo's chain hook. Look, yes, I'm really still pulling the chain out. I'm not just making that last. And he's got his little belt-weighted thing on the end there and the hook. And okay, seriously, coolest accessory ever. You also get Lobo's pipes for the Collect and Connect figure, which we will put off to the side with the chain because video number 5 will be putting this figure together. Here's all the parts we've got so far. Off to the side. The Wallace West Kid Flash figure, and 2 running hands for all the times he wants to make haste and cut through the air like a boss. So starting at the toes and going all the way to the head, you'll notice that there are only 2 brand new sculpted pieces that will be exclusive to Wallace here, and that is the feet and also the head. Everything else is just a naked body buck of the smaller, slender male scale. But I'm okay with that because, as with most superheroes, they're just wearing a skin-tight suit, and I don't really see the need to sculpt the black lines on this suit, so I'm really okay with the very minimal sculpting detail on this character. I'm really enjoying the bright yellow of this figure. It makes him stand out in comparison to the rest of the figures in the line. The lightning bolt emblem across his chest is painted pretty darn good. It's nice and crisp and clean. The black detail lines in between the red and the yellow, although they could be a tad neater, I'm not unhappy with them. I think that they're perfectly fine for what they are and the price range of this figure. I think that the head sculpt for Wallace West looks fantastic. That little cut in his hair, the lightning bolt line in his hair, is done really crisply. The eyes are done very nicely. I just think that this head sculpt does a good job of representing the comic book accurate Wallace West. So, as far as looks go, so far, so good. Now let's get into the articulation. Let's just see how posable this guy really is. Wallace's head is on a ball peg, so it does ball peggy type stuff. Hinge swivel shoulders that go up and around and spin around. He's got a bicep swivel, and everyone knows what they do. Single jointed elbows that, I'm trying to push them. You can't quite get 90 degrees out of these. Swivel hinge wrists, and they do what swivel hinges do. He's got a forwards and backwards ab crunch. A tornado waist so that he can look at his butt with that ab crunch. Ball jointed groin with the range of motion that you would expect from a guy with a ball jointed groin, but also a pair of buns that does kind of get in the way. Still, pretty good range of motion. A swiveling thigh cut. The double jointed knees that every speedster deserves. And hinged ankle pivots, which is cool. So many people, whoa, I didn't even notice that. He's got treads. That should have been in the other part of the video. Oh well, here it is. Shoe treads. Can I also just take this time to point out the difference between a rocker ankle and an ankle pivot? Let's do that. This Superman figure has rocker ankles. They rock back and forth. That's really literally all they do. They're intended to rock back and forth so that you can put his feet flat when his legs are farther apart. And this is an ankle pivot. A pivot is a foot peg that doesn't go down the bottom, but it kind of goes forward into the front of the foot, and it enables you to pivot the foot, because to pivot is to turn. Ankle pivots, rocker ankles. Sorry, information session over. Now let's do the comparison. So for the first comparison, I brought in the DC Universe Classics Wally West Kid Flash figure, and then 2 DC Direct Bart Allen Kid Flash figures, and this is the sum total of the Kid Flash figures I own. I know, it's pathetic. And this one here, I made the mistake of giving to one of my kids a long time ago, and you can see that the hair on this, I mean, okay, it's rough. It's rough. I'm not even going to try to hide that. That is a rough figure. Anyway, the sum total of my Kid Flash figures, and he stands head and shoulders above all of them. And then for comparison 2, I just wanted to showcase him next to the other 2 figures in the wave that I've opened, and also point out that as you can clearly see here, there are 1, 2, 3 different bucks being used for the male figures so far. This one here has more slender rounded pecs, this one here is just huge, and this one here is that mid-size buck. If I had my way, I probably would have made Wallace West a little bit shorter than he is because he's not a really tall character. He is still technically a kid. So I probably would have made him more akin to, more akin to this one here. Maybe a bit taller than Damien. Yeah, definitely taller than Damien. But, you know, not so that he's almost on par with Kyle Rayner as far as height goes. I think that I would have made him a little bit shorter. Just a butt hair shorter. So here we are at the end of the video. I've gone through everything in a very simple, clear, concise, basic manner. And I guess if you were to ask me, do I feel like this is a worthwhile endeavor for someone to go on the hunt to Target and Walmart to try and find this guy? I would say absolutely yes. For one, I'm betting that he is going to be one of the only, if not possibly the only Wallace West Kid Flash figure that we'll ever get. Maybe DC Collectibles will put one out, but there really is no guarantee. So you might be looking at, right here, the only 6-inch scale Wallace West Kid Flash. And really, let's be honest here, even if you don't collect the DC Multiverse figures, you can see that he actually fits in really, really well with the DC Essentials as well. And in my opinion, he's actually more in scale with the DC Essentials compared to the DC Multiverse figures. That means you actually have double the reason to pick this guy up. If you're a Multiverse collector, and if you're a DC Essentials collector, he's going to be a figure that you can use to go with either of those collections. So honestly, yes, if you can find him in hand, preferably without having to order him, that way you can inspect the paint apps and stuff like that, I would say absolutely pick him up. I love him. He's absolutely going to be one of my favorite Multiverse figures to come out to date, and I think that you will like him too, and I give this figure a solid 9 out of 10. The only reason why I would dock marks is because for a running figure, I do wish that he had the neck peg on a hinge, and he just doesn't. I understand why he doesn't, but nonetheless, that is something that I just wish we could have seen. Aside from that, I think the paint apps are just fine. The sculpting detail looks fantastic, and this is a great Flash figure to add to anyone's 6-inch or even 7-inch scale collection. But with that, I think we're done. I've gone on long enough, so thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you appreciated it and found it kind of useful. If you did, why don't you take the time to leave a like on it, click the red button that says subscribe on it, maybe also ding the bell so that you get notified of new videos, and leave any comments you have down in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, Super Friends. Take care.